Hello, hello, hello. I don't know why I'm excited. That was interesting. Um, I got excited because why did I get excited? Who knows? We're excited. Anyway, we're excited. We're giddy. We're excited. Um, I'm Angel. Welcome in. Welcome into the room where because now the conversations I'm having online and offline, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one making space for my internal guidance system, my intuition, my spirit, my essence. Last night I heard another word for it and I really liked it. Oh, my being. I like it because I do believe we are human beings. We are a being having a human experience. And so, for the first large portion of my life, and I realize now I'm not alone in this, we've allowed the humanness, the human experiences, thoughts, beliefs morph and control our lives in the name of like losing our self, our being, losing our voice, losing our minds. Get out of your mind. In this world, in the physical. So I now know I am not the only one who is yearning to hear and to embody and to make space and live alongside and more from our beingness. That's why I'm excited. I'm not alone anymore. So, let's see. I'm just going to get quiet, see what happens. I kind of have a gist of what I want to talk about today, but I just want to make sure it's in alignment with my being. Okay. Did I already say I'm Angel? Introduction and stuff? I don't know, YouTube. I'm trying to just make sure that in every video you know who I am, the who, what, when, where, and why, right? So I'm Angel. This is the practice. I'm just going to get quiet so we can get right into it. Pain into purpose. We'd like to talk about pain into purpose. Last night, while at dinner, okay. Ooh, this is juice. Oh, okay, okay. I see why I'm excited now. Oh, okay. Last night, when I was at dinner, my friend was saying that she had watched my first post on YouTube. And the feedback that I was getting, she just kept saying like, "Wow, you really threw it all out there. You really went deep, didn't you?" And as I kept watching, it's like, "Whoa, she wow, she went there. And I could feel it in my body. I was anxious and my foot was tapping and I was like, I did. And this was literally my bodily reaction. Like, I fully did. You know, because that was one of the first times that I had done anything like that. I was so moved and triggered by the worries of the world and how it mirrored um, my internal life adventure. That it had, I was so triggered that it had wiggled me into alignment with hearing my being call me to YouTube, and I was answering the call. And so, yes, I went deep. I was raw. I was real, and I will always kind of be raw and real. Just so we're all on the same page there. Um, then as she kind of kept going with, well, you really went there, and she started to kind of see me in the sense of like understanding where someone needs to be. Sorry, I have like itchy nose. I'm not sure. She kind of understood what needed to be in alignment for somebody to show up in such raw authenticity. And then I caught myself in my anxiety. I said, yeah, if you watch the last video, I am so for certain. The only thing I'm not certain about is like what's to come from answering these calls. Ooh, and I'm hearing I'm not supposed to know. I'm just supposed to show up. That was cute. Um, so then because I practiced behind closed doors, I was able to in real time hold myself, one hand on the womb, belly, one hand on my heart, hold myself and breathe into a little bit about what she's saying as far as like, you must really be ready to be able to show up so raw and authentically. And I held myself in that moment like, yes, this is what I'm to turn pain into purpose. When I was 17, I didn't know my purpose. And the concept of purpose, we can have a whole conversation about it. I think people have many purposes. I think it's in human nature to find purpose and give meaning to things so that we can have that will to live and something to strive for, right? The concept of humans having a purpose. And then some people are like, our one purpose is just to play and to be in joy and to all of these things. But when you come from suffrage, or you have some kind of trauma in your field, or there is pain, there is trials and tribulations and suffering, you have options. Oh, this is juice. You have options. My options were to fall into victimhood and shrink and believe that and I did for a very long time. I'm unworthy. I'm unlovable. I don't know how to love. I'm a bad person, right? So that's one choice. When someone has any kind of suffering, any kind, big, small, doesn't matter. It's going to look and sound different to everybody. I don't have to go into mine to I used to think, and I'm still grappling with this. I used to over explain in hopes to get someone to understand, but my pain isn't going to look and feel like your pain, right? So if anybody just has any kind of pain in their field, in their life, then I can't help but think we have choices. We can fall into victimhood and allow it to shrink our being, our essence, right? And we know what that fucking looks like. Playing small. What does playing small look like? It's all going to look and feel different to you. Keep that in mind. But settling for jobs you don't like, relationships you're not happy in. I mean, just settling in the unfulfillment of it all, losing ourselves in it all, which is so easy to do. We don't live in a society that prioritizes our peace and our joy and our health. But the other option, given that humans have a tendency of needing to find meaning And given that, now I know I'm not alone in this either. Given that there are calls of the heart to do more, the other option is to turn pain into purpose, pain into power. So when I was 17 and I was seeking purpose, I remember very distinctly one of my mentors at the time said, if you don't know what your purpose is, sorry, I have a note on purpose that I was being reminded to look at. It just says discover your purpose, your true purpose over there for some reason. Answering the call. Here I am. So good. You see little magical moments like that. They happen all day, every day for me. All day, every day. There's already been so much magic from my morning routine in my coaching sessions. And that's what helped me to show up here. So that's what I'm here to do. Pain into purpose, pain into purpose. Oh, so when I was 17, a mentor at the time said, if you don't know what your purpose is, go into your deepest pain and you will find your purpose. And I just took that for what it was at the time. Go into your deepest pain. Okay, well, and mine happened to be abandonment and unworthiness. And was that it? Yeah. Those are the deepest pain. And then the symptoms were, things that I've had to work through up until, well, I will continue to work on them. But up until now I feel like I've definitely worked through and overcome a lot of that, which has allowed me to show up here. Okay. So going into your deepest pain to find you a purpose, because we might have multiple. Yeah. Um, that being said, That being said, I just got off of a phone call with a gal who also has abandonment wounds and inadequacy, unworthiness. And we were doing some inner child healing together, which is a mix, right? We were doing some inner child healing, but we were also getting out of the body and seeing what our higher selves had to say about what our human is doing and what a good job we're doing, and just kind of helping to challenge the stories that our ego will tell us. We're not doing enough, we're all the things, right? And in the midst of it, wouldn't you know, she had unconsciously, not on purpose, like just her life had naturally led her to this position where her family um outright neglected her and casted her out. She finds herself in the position of taking care of her community in the sense of the children. All the children in need of a motherly figure, people bring their children to her. And I'm talking, some days she has 7 kids, some days she has 15, some days she has just the one, just the two, but the more we got into the conversation, I asked her, I'm like, I don't know, I can't remember the questions. Oh, wait, here's some notes. um, right. Just remembering who she was. Who are you in this moment? And when people come into your vicinity, she makes sure to never let anyone, here it is, here it is. I apologize for the, although if you're here by now, you kind of know this is what you get. So, yeah. Um, She's very confident, very clear in saying, like, anybody who enters my vicinity will never feel abandoned. Will always get an authentic version of me, an honest version of me, and they will feel taken care of. They will feel special. They will feel included. All the things that, and she said that all the things that I didn't get, I aim to give, right? And so this falls into the thing of turning your biggest pain into purpose, because then the next comment was, fuck, I wish I had blah 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 different in my life. And I get that. 100% I get that. Do we all wish we had perfect circumstances and conditions? Of course. Of course. And yet, this is going to sound so fucked up. It's especially if you're not on the level. If any of this is resonating with you, then you'll be with me in the next sentence. But if this isn't resonating with you, I give full permission. You can stop watching this. Go pay your attention to something that feels more in alignment for you. But I'm grateful for my trials and tribulations. What do they say online? Hot take. Whenever they say something controversial. Hot take. I'm grateful for my contributions. Those two, trials and tribulations, because they lead to my contributions. Let me chill. Oh, I'm telling you, I'm giddy right now. I'm giddy because there's an inner knowingness now happening in my life that I am in fact living to my full potential where it's at now, because the more capacity I build for my potential to and my soul to fully express itself, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. So if you're here, get excited for what's to come. I'm just hearing like the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. And thank you for being here, because I'm just a reflection of you anyway. So if I rise, you rise. If I rise, you rise, just like that. Hello? Hello? So what's coming up for you right now? One, when I say the phrase turning pain into power or turning pain into purpose. Two, when you're hearing about, because I was shook. I was shook when I was like, when she said, I wish I had someone so different in my life. I'm like, yeah, I understand that. And yet I am truly, truly grateful for my trials and tribulations, because without those conditions, people, places, things, and experiences, I wouldn't have the pain that I have. Therefore, I wouldn't know what my gifts are. I wouldn't know how to show up in my purpose, right? Of helping people to remember who the fuck they are and have always been underneath all the noise, so that we can show up for ourselves and our communities in these ways of alignment, expansion, and growth in grace. It's a lot, but I am grateful. The empathy, the compassion, the kindness, the patience that I'm able to have for my friends, my clients, strangers, that all comes from that. That all comes with being misunderstood, put in a box, projected on, labeled, judged, criticized, unheard, unseen, rejected. My goodness comes from my And may I be absolutely clear, this is not about blame, shame, guilt, or hatred. This is not about judgment. Fuck, it's not even about forgiveness and accountability at this point. Can we can we be clear for some can we for some folks? This isn't about this particular episode is not about forgiveness. It's not about understanding, and it's not about accountability. It's not about the other. It's not about blame, shame, guilt, or self-hatred. This is actually about full acceptance of where we've been, which comes with processing, right? Processing and accepting the grief of what we didn't get and what we're not, and what they weren't and what that isn't, and da da da. Grieve it. Grieve it. Grieve it all. I'm trying to think on how I came to a point of gratitude from such deep wounds. Let me breathe. Let me breathe and ask. Acceptance, yeah. After trying to change the external for so long, external perception, it doesn't matter, externals. Because the symptoms of my pain and most people's pain leads to, people pleasing, perfectionism, performance, all out of inauthenticity, not from an authentic place. We want them to love us. We want them to accept us. We want them to be proud of us. We want the raise. We want the family. We want the husband. We want the stability. We want the safety. But we were, and some of us are, chasing after these things from our wounded place. And so accepting that things were never going to be what I thought I needed them to be, and grieving who I was when I was chasing things out of inauthenticity. Forgiving, okay, maybe this is about forgiveness now, but forgiving my own mistakes and my own shittiness because I was operating from an inauthentic place has led me now to something bigger. So the anxiety that I was having when my friend kept pointing out how deep I went in the first video, I almost called her on my way home last night to say, was it too much? Should I take it down? I almost did. But you know what my being said? My essence, my soul? Do not remove that video. It was not too much. The whole point not isn't to prove, but to embody the fact that my purpose is bigger than my pains. I'm choosing to leave that because I am living proof that you can go through all of your trials and tribulations and still have value. Breathe. Somebody left a comment on one of the videos saying, "Be the change you wish to see." And we love that phrase, right? All the cliche phrases are true as much as they annoy me for some reason. I know why cliche phrases annoy me. It's because people will say them, but they won't tell you the how. And I need an understanding. As someone who didn't have a lot of understanding of why things happened the way that they happened, I tend to harp on like needing to understand. But so when someone says like, be the change and just walks away, I'm like, get fucked. Because how? How? This is how. And let's say you're blessed enough to not have any trials and tribulations. And let's say you don't have any of your own suffering to pull from. There is enough suffering in the world to borrow from. Look out into the world and see what irks you the most. Because that subconsciously is where a purpose can come from. Why are we even talking about this? We're talking about we're talking about turning pain into purpose because people are finding it hard to find their place within the chaos. That helplessness, that hopelessness, that where is my place? I'm just one person. I can't make a change. That our humanness will say, that fear will have us believing. That's not fucking true. We all have a place in it. We all have a part in it. We all are affected by it. And to look at an injustice or a suffering and feel moved by it is a sign, I think. Is energy moved? Like, oh, what? And I think that deserves taking a look into. And we're also talking about this because aside from the chaos and the suffering and the injustices, how many people do you know, if not yourself, that are seeking purpose? What is my purpose? What is my place? Therefore, have this internal dialogue of, I'm not enough. I'm not enough. But you are. Here and now, you are enough. You have purposes. Naturally, I'm feeling like I'm done, but done with the video. But let me see if there's anything more that wants to come up. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. It doesn't have to be grandiose. And you can't go from fully unknowing your purpose to just like looking at a pain point being, oh, that's it, let's go. Like it's going to come in baby steps. It's going to come in the little whispers, in those little energy jolts, and that's why we need to calm the noise a bit so we can hear when these little inklings come up, when our being is telling us, hey. So those things, it's not going to be grandiose right off the bat. going to come in baby steps. You see someone who's in need, you get a little whisper of, hey, you might be able to assist. Find your community, find like minded people. I mean, let's start it here and now. Like minded people who are seeking their purpose, seeking their power, looking to add value to the community, which, by the way, you're innately valuable. Okay. You come out of the womb valuable. It's the world that tries to teach you that you're not valuable and you don't have purpose and you're unlovable. Oh, trigger. Part of the acceptance of moving from feeling unvaluable, unlovable, is accepting that the people who projected those things onto you were in fact unhealed and didn't love themselves. They were projections. They didn't have the capacity to love themselves. So acceptance, cool. But innately, now that I have accepted, okay, you just didn't have the capacity. Okay, fine. I see now. I see clearly that I've always been lovable. I've always been worthy. And I deserve everything my heart desires. And so do you. Okay, I think that's it. Or am I just nervous because I just cried on camera again? No, that is it. We are concluded. I appreciate you for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your day.